Well, hello there.
Oh, hi.
I didn't see you come in.
Oh, is that you, Internet World?
Oh, hello. What's up, Zero? What's
Welcome.
up, Cass? What's up, Balor?
Oh my gosh, there's so many people already here.
Just hanging out, doing the
Wow,
thing.
that is awesome.
Yeah, very cool.
I'm jealous of them.
I know, right? It didn't have to be on camera. I get to hang out and stream. I come to bury Caesar, not praise him. I mean, hey, look, it's a salad. It should be buried. They're not worth eating. That's where we were going, right? That's where that... Right?
Ben,
Okay.
what anchovy
Ugh.
hurt you?
All of them. They're nasty little bastards. Hi, Katie.
Not enough anchovies. You know, I don't know if I agree with you, but have you ever had fresh anchovies, like lightly battered and fried? Because
No.
fucking French fries of the sea right there.
Ooh.
Amazing.
No. Just have a French fry.
Y'all don't even understand.
Katie, we'll talk about it. You take a breath. You're not on stream.
It has been exactly 27 seconds of the show.
And Katie's like, talk about the thing.
There's not even anybody, you know, we're waiting for more people to join the call.
Why does my Caesar salad recipe say to stab it 23 times? Hell yeah. I mean, okay. In fairness, let's talk about, let's do a quick recap of last week's session because okay, hey, we acknowledge that.
I was talking about other players that could potentially show up.
I think it might just be you and me tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it's a date night. Just
like the olden days.
Two of us. Yeah. But let's talk last week's session. Because I've got some stuff from my side where I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna give him an encounter, like push him a little bit and whatever, and then I got thoroughly whomped. Part of it was
I didn't even get to do anything on this.
I know you spent the whole time running. Truly,
right?
I did not know how accurate the description of Corey as Lancelot running towards the castle actually was going to be in the context of the scene. It was like still running.
Just with quips.
Yeah.
Running with quips.
Running, an important thing to do. So like two things happened. One was that I almost one-shot Katie at the start of the fight, and I was like, uh-oh, we haven't actually had a talk as a group yet, which we'll get to in a minute for those of you watching. And I was like, do I knock her down? But then I was like, you know what? We have people healing. And also, like, she's not really a threat.
Knock her down.
Yeah, and, in retrospect. But also, she's my wife. So, like, but it's the one pass. It's the one campaign pass that she gets. So there was that, and then there was the Crown of Madness that Patrick put on the big ogre guy that he could not save from to save his life, and that truly was the whomping that I did not plan for, and forgot that one of the other characters could have given him advantage on his saving throws. So in retrospect, I totally could have gotten out of it sooner, and then I just didn't remember it until it was basically too late. And I was like, well, fuck.
For what it's worth, though, hear me out.
Okay.
You are not the only DM on this channel to have almost killed Katie in a nominal encounter you did not think was going to kill Katie.
That is, yeah, that's a fair point.
In fact, you're in good company because Pablo, you, and I have all almost killed Katie at least once.
It's true. You did it with just a mimic,
right?
You almost TPK'd with a mimic, which honestly is
I did.
More impressive in some ways. Yeah. That was quite. God, that was funny to watch. Hey, what's up, Stronghold? How's it going?
Hello,
Welcome.
Stronghold.
So I mean, I was hoping for a harder encounter for you guys to like see how combat and that sort of thing would like shape the way that the group interacted. I got whomped by some good players, which means that the gloves are coming off from here on out. Not playing as quickly as possible all the time. I try and put it down when I have the mental capacity to remain cool under fire. See, like
Katie also redeemed a water pen, just so you know.
Oh god! All right, well here I got to drink some tea.
Gotta have both, friend.
I just do tea.
I know you don't like the flavor of water.
I hate the flavor of water.
That's why we did this redeem, so you would drink more water.
feels unfair.
I have to suffer through it too.
That's
you know
fair.
How many of these 30-ounce things of water I drink every cast we do?
You drink, yeah, that's true. You're very well hydrated. Oh goodness.
But
yeah, so it was interesting the way that things kind of went down, because I had in my mind like an idea of the way that it was going to go, and boy did it not. Which,
so
you know,
what actually happened first in your, like, from your lens of like what you remember and everything like that, like,
yeah,
like what did you see unfold in front of you? And then I want to compare it to what you thought was going to happen, because I think that's an interesting like side of like asking the DM these things. It's like, well, what were you seeing over there?
yeah. So what I saw was Azad and Patchwork put themselves in a objectively really bad situation.
Yeah.
And y'all responded quickly enough that what I thought was going to be essentially like a rescue operation of like you guys trying to extract 2 unconscious party members from a tent became just like an absolute ass whooping, which included a guy who could literally one-shot most of you if he crit. Fighting on your side.
That was pretty amazing, I'm not gonna lie.
I you know, like in retrospect, I probably should read through all of y'all's abilities and actually know what you're capable of. But like part of it is like they wouldn't know what you're capable of. So for me to design an encounter around that feels a little bit cheesy, especially early. You know, like your first fight to be like, oh, let's see here, what have we got? Like that, I don't know. That doesn't seem,
I mean, like,
that doesn't seem fun.
If like one of your players just is like, oh man, I got this new ability and I'm super excited about it, I can't wait to use it on stream, then maybe you're like, oh, what was that softball you gave me? I will lob this right back to you.
Yeah. Sometimes smart enough to use difficult tactics and thanks to others makes spending exponentially
you
harder.
Read so fast. I can't.
Can I say?
Talent.
It's not even really reading. I just kind of like make half of it's like maybe a third of the syllables actually make it out. I'm gonna skip it around 2023. Communicating the way that the rest of the world is communicating right now in just 1/3 of the syllables all the time. Cryomancer can't have them fighting white dragons at the time. Yeah, see, right? It just like feels, you know. I mean, so here's the way I look at it. If you guys are fighting people who know about you, like you've established some level of enmity, they're gonna do their research, right? They're gonna find out more about you. They're gonna know how to prepare. Maybe they'll like get a couple of mercs to come on board who like, you know, if you've got a monk, like I'm gonna hire a couple people who are immune to stun, you know. You know, it's too early for anyone in the campaign to have that kind of information on you guys. Like there's a couple people who maybe know a little bit about a couple of you, but for the most part, 1, they're on your side, or, you know, 2, they're not somebody that you're going to deal with for probably a while. I have to say, I really enjoyed the through the bars communication. So this is like a digression to like towards the end of the episode, but I enjoyed that moment of like of Patchwork and Corey communicating with the Abyssal Drake, who's like stuck inside this thing. That duo,
so fun.
I enjoyed that so much. Fun. Yeah. And then also, you know, Katie and I have talked about this, but I enjoyed this. There's a moment. There's like a couple of moments, really, in the episode where you see Azad begin to loosen up a little bit, which I really loved, because it was a thing that Giovanni had intended from the get-go, is like, you need to not constantly be in like hyper mom mode. It is not good for you to just be so focused on this one thing. Like you're going to just drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
And And to see this moment where like the Abyssal Drake sort of like is given the like essentially the capacity to turn himself into humanoid form, and for her to suddenly be like, oh, or to like be encouraging Rev to like walk with Jimmy. Like those moments of her like beginning to loosen up is like exactly what Giovanni was going for and exactly what I was going for with the character. So it's fun to see that happening. I'm sure every Jimmy encounter is to be a slug and they find a way to cheese it. It feels dishonest and like give a buff from all the straight. Yeah, I mean, also, hey, look, if your players come up with like a fucking badass way to thoroughly womp you, congratulations. You deserve the win. You right? Like, it's.
I've been there plenty of times. One time, even making up mechanics on the fly for a runaway cart encounter that I had to create, like on the spot.
Yeah. Like when people figure out ways to totally cheese things, as a DM, I find it to be like some of the most rewarding stuff, because like, okay, not only are you role playing, but you are actively trying to like problem solve as your characters with the resources you have at hand, and that's dope. That's cool. Yeah. So like, I would take my hat off to you guys, but my hair, I need a haircut so bad. It's not.
Team hat hair.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I had this idea of you guys like having this like much more tense fight, and then it was just like, nah, you guys control this fucking guy now, and also he crit on like the first attack on the like main enemy who had like objectively like a pretty healthy pool of HP, and it was like, nope.
And then we just like talked one guy out of it completely.
Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy was like, honestly, Jimmy was too hurt emotionally to really have any fight in him.
Oh, there was another guy too who just like, I just wanted to hide.
Oh, the bugbear.
Yes.
The bugbear. This is fully a peek behind the screen that is like not relevant in any real way to the story. But the bugbear has a huge crush on Azad, and like felt bad about how she was spoken to earlier in the day. Also, just doesn't like fighting. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you have this stereotype of bugbears being like stupid and whatever else. And I was like, I don't know. In the same way that like abyssal drakes are evil because they come from the abyss. It's like, sure, but also there's more interesting things to do than that. So I was like, meh.
Yeah, Ben will make it evil for other reasons to be yet seen.
Exactly. Right? Like, I want you guys to like fall in love with characters, begin to trust them, and then I stab you in the back. Not like, hey, here's this guy who's evil, and you're like, so he's evil? Or like, yeah. I don't know. Seems more fun that way. I want you guys to get attached so it hurts when I betray you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You heard it first, everybody.
But with that said, we do have some actual things to talk about, sort of in the like larger scope of the campaign as a whole. Which is, I think, like first and foremost, like I want to, sort of like acknowledge that like I as the DM have been really struggling with like a number of aspects of the campaign, which is like partially like, how do I help you guys gel more? Part of it has been like starting at 9 p.m. and being so tired, which is just like a tough thing to begin with, which I know is a thing that, that other folks in the group have talked about. And actually to that point, we will be changing times, but I'll save that for the end. And part of it was I realized, through like sort of talking with you guys and talking with Katie, that I did a really terrible job of actually setting, not expectations, because it's not really expectations, it's sort of like setting my intention for the vibe and also for you guys as players. Because during character creation, I was like, swing for the fences, make big choices, tell me about the world, da-da-da-da. What I didn't do is make it clear that I wanted that to continue all the way through, like, make decisions on the fly, like tell me something about whatever, right? Like, let's make up the canon as we go. And so part of how I DM is based very much on like, here's the world, pick a direction and run headlong at it, and I'll provide all the things for you to bounce off of or run through or play with or interact with, whatever the case may be. But I didn't give you guys the ownership of the space to do that, which I think has led to some timidity, which has then sort of like stymied my attempts to provide a space because I just didn't communicate that like I want you guys to make choices and be like, that's a thing now. Which is, hey, lesson learned, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that we're all still kind of like, for some of us, it's the first time we've ever had to play together.
Yep.
Like ever,
Yeah.
And that's like a big deal whenever you consider that like some of us have played RPGs together for 5, 6, 7 years sometimes. Like I know you, me, and Katie have been playing together for what, close to 4 years now.
Isn't
On and
it
off.
already close to 4 years? Holy crap!
Like 2018, right? We saw Mabim Bam, and then
It's like 6 months or so later, a year later. It's somewhere in that 3 to 4 year range.
we even played a tabletop game that first night.
True.
Or at least we tried. So we started to.
Yeah.
It was loud. It's hard to
very loud.
RPG in a bar sometimes, folks.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. The RP when you can't hear it is a rough time.
Yeah. But
yeah.
That being said, this is really the first time I've ever played a game with Alex.
Yeah.
First time ever playing a game with Ryan.
Yeah.
Rachel is relatively new, only the past couple months.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of it is we're learning to gel a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think when we all talk and chat and communicate this idea of like a general vibe and kind of like the limits and bounds that you're putting in place.
Yeah.
I think once that's kind of like, chatted out and established with us,
yeah,
I have no doubt that we'll be exactly where we need to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Also, I think one of the things that we talked about was like, or we maybe didn't talk about in a way that was more lasting in terms of like creating a true understanding is the sort of like the overall vibe, which is like, I like to joke around with you guys, I like to have fun, and I also like to make you sad right afterwards and then make you laugh again, because that's, like that to me is an enjoyable role-playing experience. It's like, yeah, I want to have a good time at the table, and I want to have fun with people who I enjoy spending time with. I also absolutely want to be like totally kicked in the feels repeatedly and then like pulled back out of it again and then like shoved back into that locker and then pulled back, like that to me is like a fun role-playing experience. We get to experience, you get to like inhabit that space. And I think that I didn't communicate my intentionality to that end as well as I could have or should have, which has led to it being like a little bit more serious in some ways, which is, I think we all kind of know in our guts what we're going for, but then it's also like, well, I don't want to like step on toes, and if Ben's got this idea of the world, I don't want to go like goofy vibe, and then that's not what's intended.
You don't want to put like a brontosaurus in his swimming pool if there isn't supposed to be jellyfish already in the swimming pool. You know what I mean? Like we need to have the impetus.
Yes.
To go about and say, there's Kool-Aid in that swimming pool. Just something completely different.
And a brontosaurus.
Right?
A brachiosaurus. It's a big pool.
It's a big pool, and it's a big pool party.
Yeah, So for you guys, the viewers, tomorrow before we go live for the campaign, we're just gonna like have like a group chat where we sort of like talk about it, kind of figure it out, and see like how we make those shifts, right? It's it is still a work in progress, and we want to be as as transparent with you as we possibly can be, and we've, I think, done a pretty decent job of that so far, and we're trying to like stick to that. Like, hey, here's where
That's
we're
like
at.
it's one of my favorite things that we do, honestly, is like we're learning
Yeah,
how to do this streaming thing pretty much in real time as y'all are enjoying the content or
hopefully
not
enjoying.
enjoying it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So I really think, we're we're learning and we're finding our groove a little bit. And I think this has been um a very like important, first 3 or 4 sessions, because I feel like, you know, we were kind of wearing in the groove marks, but now I think like we're really gonna be set and like ready to go.
I hope so. Yeah, because I've got like
I
fun
do.
ideas for y'all, and
Yeah.
I mean you were all like such like talented improvisers and players and actors, and
Oh,
I want
Ben,
to.
please, here, let me give you my buns before you butter me so.
Oh my! I think we have to. I think we got to switch to a different website before I start buttering your buns.
I think we're good. We got cooking in the we have cooking in the description.
That
We're good.
is. Wait, do we? I thought I got rid of that.
Nope.
Oh God, dag nabbit.
At least on my Twitch, it's saying cooking is still there.
Ah, well, that's interesting. I'll take a gander.
Yeah, it's a tag.
Oh, is it still a tag? Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine where it's at. It's tag. Okay, cool. That's fine. I can remove that later, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah. So that's kind of like the big things right now is we're gonna be having a chat about the overall vibe, how like how various characters interact with one another, and like how we find that space.
And the world.
Yeah, and the world. Like, how do you guys interact with the world? Like, make shit up. It's not.
And be big about it too.
Yes. Yeah. I would rather that we absolutely like fucking swing for the fences and just, like just totally whiff and have to figure it out than, just try to keep the ball inside the diamond. Like I don't want bunts. I want you guys to I want you to go for it. Like truly go for it. Cooking up some talkback. Yeah. Exactly.
Ground rule doubles, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the things is I want to sort of like encourage folks to like talk outside of the game in the context of the characters themselves. Like, hey, for example, I will use an example that I think is a pretty easy one. Is like for me personally, anyway, and I maybe this is different for y'all as players, but when I saw Azad and Alistar coming together, I was like, oh, perfect. It's like the group mom and group dad. Easy. And that hasn't like happened yet, which maybe it won't ever, because like maybe you guys are getting to the point where it's like, oh, maybe you guys are, like as individuals, you're more capable than, maybe I initially wanted to admit or wanted to acknowledge, or, whatever the case is. Consequently that dynamic is going to shift. But I was like, you guys can always chat like, hey, our characters haven't had this moment yet. Like, do we want to have that moment? Is that a direction we want to take our characters? Do we want them to begin to like grow in different ways? If we do want to have that dynamic, how do we make that happen? Right. There's like, we've lived in it, like, inhabited over the course of a stream, maybe a couple of hours of time really in what you guys have actually experienced. You guys have been together at this point 8 to 10 hours,
Yeah.
So there's like, there are conversations that can happen in those times that are, sort of like in that liminal space of like me sort of being like, and we're moving on because we don't need to RP that whole thing. But you guys would have the opportunity to talk. And I think some of it is like, let's, like, you guys should feel good about like, let's have table talk outside of table time. And like figure out, why do we interact the way that we interact, or don't the way that we, maybe thought we would, or something along those lines. And I think that also comes back to the idea of people at the table being new to one another and still trying to figure out those dynamics. You know, because like I don't know, I look at like Critical Role or Dimension 20 or NADPOD, and it's people who either have been friends for years
Yeah.
or worked together for years or both. So their dynamic for them at the table is predicated upon long-standing relationships.
It's a lot easier to pretend you don't know somebody
Yes.
than to pretend like you do.
Yes. Yeah.
Like 1000%. I agree with you there a lot. Which actually I think brings us to our next thing.
Yeah.
With what you're talking about here, Ben, and being able to kind of talk about ourselves in the third person,
Yeah.
totally separated as a player, not as a character.
Mhm.
And I think, that includes potentially moving this very show right here. I was kind of making a joke and doing a bit when I was talking about other people joining us, mostly because I knew everyone's crazy busy right now.
So fucking busy.
Like people are wrapping up other campaigns.
Yep.
They're in school. They're at their job still, or doing
Yeah.
work at home. And they can't hop onto calls whenever they feel like it, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I totally get that. And part of getting us all to gel even better and kind of have these discussions in third person is why we're thinking about potentially moving this to another like day of the week and a different time, just so we could potentially get more people and get like as many or all of the entire cast in one place at one time,
Yeah.
other than Tuesdays.
Yes.
So that way, and it's not even so much like so that way everybody can even talk. It's also just so that everyone can listen.
Yeah.
Like maybe Ben, you're gonna like ask about Ryan and Alex's character and why they haven't really talked at all yet. Maybe that's like an important thing for them to be like, well, we haven't really had a situation where we've needed to interact yet.
Yeah.
And also maybe the rest of us can like help set that up. Not to like metagame our
Right.
campaign,
Yeah. Yeah.
but to
Yeah.
like, be consciously aware of like something that, in game would have potentially already happened in those scenes we don't see.
Right.
Like you
Like
were
how do
saying.
we help as a group to facilitate this? Because again, I think it comes back to one of the things that we said like way at the beginning, which is like this is going to be a collaborative telling of the story.
Yeah.
And I think like part of that is the group awareness of how do we make time and space for the characters to have their time and space.
Yeah, without stepping on each other's toes too, because I
Yeah.
know personally I've felt like sometimes like I'm tripping over some of the other players right now because like we're still figuring out our role within the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
And we had that like brief one episode where we've kind of, it's a lot easier whenever like a third of the roles have to be yours to kind of start picking up hats and wearing them.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever we did that, like it kind of felt a little bit more natural. And then all of a sudden there's 6 of us.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I may have had some of the roles that Rachel had, which is also maybe some of the roles that Omar was like taking up as like the elderly, most knowledgeable because you're actually the oldest.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, compared to Omar and Katie's characters feeling like the oldest sibling slash parent of the group.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of those hats that we were already wearing, and now we're kind of like feeling out each other a little bit to know what those boundaries are just a little bit better. And I think, being able to have everybody here to talk about that kind of thing is going to be one of those really important factors that will honestly like separate us from the pack. Not to like toot my own horn, but like honestly, like I think we're taking the time to be introspective about it.
Mm-hmm.
and I think that helps us create better on-screen time or like role play time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also it allows people to
exactly random.
yeah, exactly, metagaming for good. Yeah, and part of it is like I wouldn't. I would say that I am friends with everyone at the table. I'm not necessarily good friends with everyone at the table. Not for lack of interest, right? Like everybody at the table, phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
Some of them I just haven't known that long, and it's not a matter of like interest or whatever. But I would like to become good friends with everyone at the table over time, and I think that I hope at any rate that is sort of like a shared feeling. And so part of the reason that like we're having this conversation and like having it openly with you guys is like I hope that everyone else at the table feels that way, and I want everyone to feel like they have the space on and off the table to find that with one another, because you guys are all dope human beings. Obviously I'm like strongly biased in favor of one of you, Zeki. There's like a couple other people, I guess. Watch, Katie's gonna come in and like stab me.
It's just like, who has the most history here?
It's true.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, there's as the DM and as somebody who whatever, I don't care. I love you too. I feel like some of it is my responsibility as the DM to help facilitate that offline, off of the table. And I think having open conversations about it where folks can sort of like chime in and whatnot, I think on like in a setting like this is super valuable. And I think that like having the group sit down and be able to chat through things or say like, oh, hey, you did this thing and I actually really liked it. And I would really, in the moment, my character didn't have the opportunity to say or do anything with that, but I would really like to in the future. Can we circle back around to that sometime in, maybe the next episode or the episode after that? Like, I would really like to, maybe it's been in my character's head since then. And I really want to explore that with you, or, whatever the case may be. So yeah, I think it's important to have those times where we all get to sort of sync up and say the things that are on our minds, rather than kind of being like, the next session has started. Shit. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll talk later, maybe.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well now it's been 2 weeks. Fuck it, whatever. Moment's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah. And actually, part of well, this sort of isn't entirely related, but like one of the things that we talked about as a group was just like TTRPG master class. Oh boy.
Oh wow.
Maybe in amateur class.
Yes. We should do a series called Amateur Class.
Amateur Class?
Why did that not pop into?
No one take that idea. But like one of the things that I know has been the case for a couple other folks, and certainly for myself, has been starting at 9 p.m. and going to midnight, knowing that people have work in the morning. You get up super early.
5 a.m. comes at me quick.
Oh baby! And if we're ending at midnight or 12:30, like that's eating into it. So like fortunately, some schedules are changing for folks, which are going to allow us. It's going to allow us to move things forward. Tomorrow we're going to start at 8 p.m. But after that, we'll be moving just fully to a 7 p.m. start, which allows us to, come in with all the energy we need. Folks aren't falling asleep within the first hour because it's a long day and people are tuckered out.
It was one time. No,
that's been 2 times for now.
But yeah, no, I agree. And this is totally just because we're all on the Eastern Seaboard, everybody. So we are UTC -5.
Yeah.
for you international folks.
Fancy
And
people.
yeah, by the time 9 p.m. rolls around, I'm ready for my jammies.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, which is totally reasonable.
Yeah.
And another piece of it for me was like, oh man, starting at 9, like what happens if we get sort of like later into the campaign and you guys have an epic fight? We're gonna stop in the middle of a fight? Like,
yeah.
I mean, we can, but that's like a tough thing to do. Or maybe it's get to the end of a fight and like hypothetically someone has died.
Are we going to end it right there?
Right
or are we
there
going to have some resolution?
Yeah,
right?
or like, do we want to maybe, even if we do, if it is the appropriate time to end, like maybe we want to take 25 or 30 minutes offline and chat as a party to, to sort of like decompress from what is potentially a very stressful situation. A pajama party, honestly, we should do that at some point. Just have everyone show up in their jammies.
It'll be for a special, like, dreamy one shot of some sort.
Send you guys to a different dimension or something and be like, all right, everyone show up in your pajamas.
It's just Inception. That's all we're doing.
God damn it. Fuck. My idea! No! It's been done years ago! Heck!
But, yeah, no, I think it's gonna be good because it's also like, everybody is also like, I feel like with 9 o'clock, we're all like shifting gears to go like out of our way to be ready,
Yeah.
And I feel like that like gets in all of our heads a little bit.
Yes, for sure.
So, and I think like this is something that, we're learning as like a stream channel that, sometimes you cannot just force something and think that you're going to be able to, turn on like a piece of kitchen equipment or something. I'm like having a brain fart there, but in general,
curious. I was like, where is it going? But
but you can't just like turn it on and off. Like,
yeah,
you can to a degree, but like when you're tired and you've already had your day job and potentially a second job, and now you're going, this is like the third job you're doing kind of thing, or you had to like take care of your kids for a few hours.
Or shit. I mean, Omar's coming from a stream where he's DMing and then immediately hopping into a character, which is...
Yeah, that's so difficult.
That's wild.
Like having to be able to be thinking about everything in a completely different universe, an entirely different genre of play.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he is a Shakespearean actor and also like putting forth all of this anxiety whenever before, you're like in the mindset of a DM that is like hyper, I know everything, don't worry, let me put my players at ease.
Yeah.
Like that's such a hard transition.
Yeah.
So like kudos to Omar for being able to have done that to begin with, and it like really goes to his like acting abilities, to be honest with you.
That's such a big ask. Such a big ask. Yeah.
So I think this will be good for everybody and like our mental health as well.
Yes.
And, that was like a big thing.
Yeah, it'll allow us to have higher energy levels, to feel, I mean, shoot, I'm sure for you guys, I mean, I know for you guys, because I've been a player at a table and been tired before. As a DM, when I have 6 players who are all so smart sitting at the table, and I know that like you're gonna come up with some shit, or like I'm gonna have to react to comments, or you guys are gonna like latch on to characters, whatever. It's like I have to be on my A game. And I said this to Katie, and I was chatting with Omar about this as well. Like I felt like I've been DMing at like 70% capacity for you guys, which is, it's like, I mean, I like hate underperforming just in general, but B, like you guys as players, like we're gonna set aside our viewers because you guys are also wonderful, and I'll get to you in a minute. But like for you, the players who I care about so much, for me to provide you with less than 100% of what I'm capable of feels like me doing you a disservice, because you're all taking time and energy out of your days to show up and come be present. And so for me to not do the best that I can for you feels like it's such a bummer. And then, you know, for folks who are coming to watch, and, you know, are like all of you like wonderful subscribers and followers, and, you know, folks who just like come and hang out and are like, I don't necessarily want to follow or subscribe, but like, hey, I get it. You know, like I don't want to provide you guys with a, you know, like a less than optimal experience either, because you're taking time out of your day. And that, you know, that means a lot. You know, there are any number of other streams or TV shows or whatever's, or your own games, or, you know, whatever that you could be doing in that moment. And so for you guys to make the choice to like come hang out, and for me to not deliver the best possible experience that I can deliver, feels really bad. And so it's, you know, that's been something that's sort of been hanging over me for the last couple of weeks, is like, man, I just feel like I am not doing my best. Like I'm just not doing my best, which has been really tough. It's been really tough.
Well, I think you've been doing a great job, but I understand the feeling, because I've been there where I didn't get to start, where I thought it was like an optimal time, or I'm in the wrong headspace in general, and then I feel like it comes across in either like a recording or just like at the end of the session, you just feel bad about it, and you're like, I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah,
I think you've been doing a great job.
Well, thank you. I have been walking away from sessions being like, I think I owe everyone that watched and played an apology for being like,
no,
bleh.
No, that's not it. But it is important that you do come out of it feeling like it was a positive experience. Otherwise, you know, like you're also there to have some enjoyment then. You know what I mean? You're not just there to like torture yourself by letting us live or something like that, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, you know, like for the enjoyment that Zero, thank you. I appreciate that. The thing that I find the most fun is when you guys are like fully engaged in character and like having a blast, right? Like that's
that's a magical moment. I agree.
So good. It's like, oh, I can when I can just sort of like set a scene and you guys go off and do whatever, like I've achieved.
Yeah, that's
Nirvana.
Always how I feel.
Yeah.
The less I have to talk, the more successful of an evening it's been, I feel.
Yes.
Probably because I'm just real bad at this. But no, I totally understand what you're saying, Ben, because it's kind of like as a DM, game master, whatever, keeper, that like to me is, you know, that's the mark that you want to hit, because you want to basically like leave your players in such a way where they are in the world, being in it, you know, like experiencing it.
Yes.
And you're conveying that in like an imaginary space, and they're just going there without you even having to like put the carrot in front of them, kind of thing, you know? So it is a magical feeling, and it feels like, I don't know, but like as a DM, you understand.
Yeah. I know there's like DMs in chat, and I know y'all know the feeling. Varo, thank you. You know, part of it I will say is like, as somebody who spends a lot of time watching like Dimension 20 and listening to NADPod, now fully with the context, like I'm not a professional comedy writer, nor am I a professional improviser, right? Like there are some things that like are just going to be different, and that's, you know, what that is. You know, like that's sort of, even though I know that is not what I am currently, or, you know, like may ever be, which, you know, whatever, speculation, right? I still hold myself to that standard, because it is the standard that I think at the very least I should be attempting to achieve, and not in terms of like my personal performance, but on the basis of how much fun people are having at the table. right? Like when
I mean,
you
that's
watch
always how
Dimension
I've gauged
20,
it. I'm like, I
yeah,
hope y'all enjoyed your night, and
yeah,
I hope to hear that. Like, it's like you're like you ended a date, and you're like really hoping that it goes well at the end, right? And whatever that means for you. But
yeah,
it's kind of like, did you guys have fun? Like, did you enjoy yourself tonight? I hope it wasn't too challenging or whatever. And then they just like give you that feedback of like it was like perfectly tuned or had a great time RPing this or that. And hopefully it's something that you didn't even do. Hopefully it's
ideally,
something that like the players created on their own, and they're just amused with themselves, because that means that you did such a good job of like immersing them that they took it out of your hands and created
yeah,
their own thing, which
yeah,
is
yeah.
but
That's the best
whew,
feeling. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, that's totally valid.
yeah. Yeah, it's true. I guess part of it is also like when you don't know what you don't know, you don't know how much better it could be. And I am painfully aware of how much I don't know, and I'm like, I want to get better. I want to be better. Um, just because when you sit at a table with that many people that are that talented and like that, like naturally funny, it's like I want to ensure that everything I do lays a great groundwork for you guys to do whatever zany, fun shit. Whether it's just joke around for a couple of hours and like teach an abyssal drake how to dunk Oreos, or like thoroughly womp me in combat because I didn't read through all of your abilities. But I want you guys to have fun doing it, and I think that's the most
Mhm.
important piece. Is like if I feel like I haven't set you up for the most possible fun, or maybe the most possible emotional trauma by not providing you with NPCs that you get really attached to. It's like, okay, I'm coming up short. So that's been a big thing for me. Is like, okay, how do I shorten those shortcomings? How do I continue to improve? I think one of those things is like, let's just start earlier. I'll be a little bit sharper, a little bit quicker on the draw, and I think that'll be helpful in and of itself.
Do you practice, Ben?
I don't
Do
know
you
what
ever
you're
just
talking
like
about.
do you ever stare in the mirror and practice DMing?
Oh God, I couldn't stare in the mirror and do it. No, no, but I do have
Like
an
when you're in
app
the
on my
car?
phone.
Do you like practice stuff in the car when you're like by yourself? I do.
Gentleman doesn't kiss and tell. Yeah, I
With
fucking do.
yourself?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with my NPCs,
Oh my Lanta.
make another NPC that Katie is compelled to romance. Hey, I mean,
There will be a dozen, I promise.
yeah, I've got a couple of fun ideas for you guys coming up. Yeah, I
I
mean,
say this mostly
I
because
practice.
Katie's character is like starting to let loose.
Yes.
And we're about to see like a phase of liberation.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to remember, and Katie and I have had this conversation a little bit. Is like her character's been through a lot, but she's 28, right? She's the same.
Yes, Katie, that is what I was saying. So what
I
were you
mean,
saying, Ben?
I don't know.
Something about Katie's character not really being that old?
Yeah, like she's got 3 kids. She's been through like a whole like world of shit, but like she's 28 years old. That's still young. That's
Ooh,
still
younger
very
than me.
young. Yeah, younger than me. And there's no reason for her to walk around feeling like she's got the world on her shoulders all the time.
For sure.
And that's that was a thing that I was really driving at with Giovanni, is like, especially because he is so old.
Especially because
Katie, you have 3 kids.
Katie
Three
can't
kids.
even remember how many kids she had.
Unbelievable.
Oh wow.
Honestly, that is truly how you know she's got kids. She's like, I don't know. There's like 2 or 3 of them. I don't know.
They like run around and do stuff. I
Yeah.
count them occasionally.
I thought you said 2. I thought that you had like a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 9-year-old or something like that. 4-year-old, 6-year-old, 9-year-old.
369. Damn, you're fine.
Boom.
Let me sock it to you one more time.
From the window to the okay. You have a baby?
She has a baby.
Okay, so you have 3 kids. I stand by it. yeah, I think that's like an important thing for her character to come to realize, and what the point of the conversation with Giovanni was, that he was sort of like driving at initially, although doing it a little bit more gently, just being like, you're still young, you don't need to like try to take on everyone's response, everyone's like baggage, right? Like, have a little fun. Remember that you're still alive. You still got a long life ahead of you. You can still find somebody who you might actually really like, and we can still address, like, we can get your kids back. We can still like figure out getting you some closure, but you don't have to be, this like high strung ball of anxiety all the time.
Finding closure is not the rest of your life.
Yes.
It shouldn't be, anyways.
Yeah. Ideally.
As like a real person and a fictional character in this world.
Yeah. So, yeah. I don't know, long-winded way of saying I am gonna keep trying to improve as a DM for y'all, so that we can continue
day by day, baby,
and continue to get better. So that's what I got.
That's it.
That's it for me tonight. I don't have a whole lot more. Is there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything that?
Well, now that I have unrequited use of the microphone, first off, here is my manifesto.
Oh boy,
I'm just kidding. I don't have one of those, or do I? But no, I don't.
Okay.
That's way too much time that I don't have to write one of those things. You think I have time to write a manifesto?
I mean,
come on.
Hey, look, I just have high standards for you. I just expect a lot.
I try to only get 3 hours of sleep every day, and if I start slipping up and getting 4 or more,
who knows what'll happen?
Who knows, indeed. But yeah, I think that's like the big things. Viewers, be ready for kind of like a vibe check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
expect the same but different.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Definitely
the same but different, right?
Yeah, fully a vibe check. Like, okay, hey, let's touch base, which honestly is probably a good thing for us to do on a regular basis. As I sort of think about it more, is like, we should just have conversations like, hey, how's everyone doing? Which is something I guess I kind of planned on, but like haven't been doing with the same.
Well, I think it's going to be part of this.
Yeah.
How's everyone doing? I killed the pet of the group. I killed the badger, or I killed the drake. And, everyone would be really upset because there'd be no more summer hits in Miami, but
woof. Don't you kill the drake. He's no one's too hot to die, Katie. I don't know any other way to tell you that.
Vibe check. It's a multifaceted check.
Yes. Yeah,
be prepared for that. Be prepared to see this Talkback on a different day.
Valor. You.
Yes, you can.
I really should have thought about what I was setting myself up for by being like me and realizing like you guys were fully gonna figure out a way for that character to just stick around, and I didn't in the moment that I decided like this is what he's gonna sound like, I did not think about the consequences of my actions.
Yep. Classic Dungeon Master mistake.
Yep.
Happens to the best of them, Ben.
Just like, okay, well, yep, I've shot myself. This is on me. I did this to myself. Yes,
I own this one.
Yep.
But yeah, also, be on the lookout for this show to be on a different day and time. Maybe even the same week of that episode. So we have it on Tuesday. We have the Talkback on Thursday or something like that. We don't know exactly yet. We don't have it planned out. That's something we're going to talk with our players about.
Tomorrow.
Or Ben's players. I'm one of the players. I'm the problem. It's
We're
me.
all, we're all players. Yeah, we have zero plans. True, truly
It's
zero
true.
plans. Just ideas.
Trust me,
Full-
everyone. I love to plan. There are no plans.
Empty head, full heart, can't lose. Yeah.
But then also, yeah, look forward to an earlier start with us.
Yep. Tomorrow
More
at
of
8
an
p.m.
East Coast prime time thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So tomorrow we're doing our own spring forward thing, except the time doesn't change
Ever
and we
again.
just change for you.
Yeah.
So tomorrow 8 o'clock, and then going forward
7 p.m. baby.
7 o'clock.
So good. Y'all can sit down, have dinner, hang out, whatever.
Listen to that sweet, sweet starting soon EDM blasting through your speakers because I still mixed it wrong.
And at some point, I'm going to get a version of the song, the Welcome to Mitra, that isn't compressed, so it actually.
It's true. I pinned it. So
It's got it because it sounds so good, and right now the compression is it grates on me so much,
kills my ears.
Oh, it hurts my soul.
As it should.
Yeah, truly. Also, honestly a miracle that the entirety of OBP hasn't shown up outside of our house and get Ben out here. We are here to deliver an ass whooping for that compression. Compression, Zeki, compression. Enhance, compress. Okay.
We need to enhance.
Yes.
For me, it's not a compression thing. I just needed to turn the volume down on it. I just had the gain too high on the video before it exported because in my personal setup, it was perfectly tuned, but in the average computer setup, where preamps and everything else aren't being used, it's a little loud, and that's on me. I did have fun making it though, so
it's cool shit. It's very cool shit.
I'm excited for the next one.
Ooh.
It's spicy.
Don't tell them yet.
Yeah, so look for that. If you enjoyed this amateur class, maybe that's what we call this. Instead of Mitra Talkbacks, we call it amateur class.
I like that. Do you level 16 lefts?
I am not sure. Maybe.
Perhaps.
I did not mix this the way I mix podcasts normally, so that was probably my fault. It's my first video, so I apologize.
You live and you learn, and occasionally sometimes you crack a few eggs to make an omelet. Sometimes you bust a couple of eardrums. Yeah. But anyhow.
But yeah, if you enjoyed that, this amateurish class, maybe follow us. Hit that little heart button thing. If you really liked it, hit the subscribe thing. That's cool too.
It's cool too.
We'll be here all week. Usually this is where Katie comes in and rattles off a schedule. I am going to rely on my memory.
I'm going to pull up Twitter so I can look at it because I typed this up earlier and I'm going to... Okay.
Oh my God! So tomorrow we're at 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. Wednesday, I'm over on ATOD doing an interview, but that'll be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
I believe that's going to be at 6 because I'm speaking to somebody, I think, from Amsterdam or a time zone therein. So then moving, it's going to be a lot of fun. He does AI world building stuff.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, so I want to learn how they make their lists and how they come up with stuff, and maybe even see behind the curtain a little bit on that. That's gonna be awesome. Fun. Check that out on Wednesday over on ATOD. But then Thursday we have a double feature, sort of.
Yeah.
We have Balra, who is in chat right now.
Hopefully,
somewhere, maybe might have left. And we're going to be playing Among Us, right?
Yeah. There she is.
There she is. And after that, Ben and Katie are jumping over to where, Ben?
To Playodic Games. We're gonna be popping in. They're taking like a bit of a break from their campaign, and so they have some folks coming on to play in one shots. And so Katie and I are gonna go join them. It's going to be chaos. I can tell. A couple of them were hanging out in chat last night towards the end of the night, and it's gonna be a good time. Yeah, oops, all monks. Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah.
fun.
Absolutely a riot. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
is
That's
Thursday night.
Thursday. Yep.
And so then Friday night, we
Mhm.
are attempting,
Mm-hmm.
as long as we have the cooperation from D&D Beyond, to
Beyond.
finish the Opera House. I believe we're starting that at 8 o'clock, Katie?
That is going to be at 8 o'clock. Yes.
So there it is, from memory, the times of everything on this channel.
Almost.
Well,
one thing on the weekend.
On the weekend, I wasn't there yet.
Oh, okay.
But for the Monday through Friday grind, that's what we're here for.
Yes.
Ben, why don't you cover what's happening this weekend?
And then Sunday at 8 p.m., because we're doing almost everything at 8 p.m., we will be doing part 2 of the Learning Pathfinder. So it'll be everyone from the Mitra cast, myself included, except I'm a player this time.
Oh, yes.
Jason,
I'm super hyped for this.
Oh, it's going to be such a good time. From Jason of What You Do Pods. If you're not following him on Twitter, you should. He's an absolute gem of a human being, and his whole shtick is to keep track of every actual play podcast that is Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And
Starfinder.
And Starfinder. Yeah, he's
anything and everything Paizo follows it.
Like, truly incredible. So we're playing through the beginner's box, and he's GMing for us, and it's going to be absolutely delightful.
It has been so far.
Yeah, it's been great.
We killed some big old rats.
And a spider.
Yeah, we did kill a spider.
Yeah. And I taunted both of the rogues incessantly.
This is true.
Yeah. But also they rolled natural ones a lot, so... Hey, what's up, Joriel? So that is... that's this week on AP. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit light for us, but it's kind of nice.
I wouldn't say it's light, dude. We have stuff every single day this week, pretty much.
That's true. Well, yeah, that's true. Betwixt all of us, we definitely do, yeah.
Yeah, Katie's like, it's not that light.
I mean, it feels light compared to some of the weeks we've had in the past.
When we don't have things double booked for the entire week, it's not a busy week.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. 4 things aren't in one day. Yeah, that's also a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, Balor. Exactly.
Yeah.
So thank you all for sticking with us for this hour and 4 minutes. Yeah. I hope that first 26 seconds of us joking around didn't kill it for you like it did for Katie.
Heck yeah. Raid Geekly?
Yeah.
Right. Let me pull up the right browser here. So we can do that. Okay.
Never mind. I did it. No, I did it. I missed the news.
Missed the news? That's okay. You could watch the VOD. No,
don't be like that.
It's Wolfgang. I could say that to Wolfgang.
No, that's even more of a reason.
Wolfgang, you know.
Wolfgang, tomorrow, 8 o'clock. The week after, much like Daylight Savings Time, will be an hour ahead.
Yes.
Only we're the only thing changing. We'll be at 7. And then
I'm not pregnant.
We're going to move this show potentially to another day of the week so we can get everybody for their juicy hot takes.
Yeah.
And tomorrow we're going to have like a vibe check and we're going to talk to everybody, maybe even the chat about it. So be on the lookout for that. That's the news.
Yeah.
I am the father.
We all knew that.
Yep.
This read is going to happen whether we want to or not. All right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Mwah, 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 mwah,
Bye.
mwah, 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 mwah.